What if I was to tell you that this much sugar has almost 1,000 calories, and that's exactly what your body needs to run its next marathon without crashing at mile 20? Now, you've been told to fear sugar, to avoid it at all costs, to maybe treat it like poison. But as a runner, sugar is one of your most powerful tools that allow you to run faster, feel better, and recover quicker. Hi, I'm James Hudson, a sport nutritionist, ex-product developer, and the guy who helps busy runners master their nutrition without becoming slaves to macros and diet dogma. Today, we're breaking down exactly how to use sugar to improve your running, including how much you need, how to calculate it for race day, how to avoid gut blow-ups, and why so many runners are sabotaging their performance by avoiding it. So, most people hear sugar and they think donuts, sweets at a kid's party, Netflix binges on the sofa. But if you're running a marathon, your body isn't operating the same way as if you were sat at a desk. Sugar, specifically free sugars, are not packaged in the food matrix of whole foods, so they're rapidly digested. So consuming the simplest form of sugar, glucose or fructose, is the quickest way to deliver energy to your working muscles and also your brain while you're running. This will help preserve your muscle glycogen stores. Without it, you hit the wall. Sugar is not an indulgence on a run. It's about performing and fueling your energy level. So how much do you really need? Let's get specific. It's very likely that you will benefit from between 30 to 60 grams of carbohydrate per hour on your long run or marathon attempt. Running over 3 hours? Well, if you've been practicing with that 60 grams per hour mark and you've been feeling good, having no GI issues on your long runs, then pushing up further from 60 all the way up to 90 could be a good idea. But I would recommend doing this gradually and noting down how much carbohydrate per hour you're having on each of your long runs, how long they were, and how you felt. And then week on week, increasing it by 5 or 10 grams until you get to the sweet spot between 80 and 90. So this may seem like a huge amount of sugar, and it is. I mean, depending on the size of the gel that you're using, it's having one every 20 minutes. But it's clear that if you can tolerate it, more sugar equals better performance. I mean, the elites or the professional athletes are pushing up past 90 now towards almost 120 grams of carbohydrate per hour. But unless you're pushing some serious speeds on your run and you're holding that for more than 5, 6 or 7 hours, then I wouldn't recommend having this much. It will just cause you to have stomach upset and feel very sick. So let's do another example together. Let's say your goal is to run a sub 4 hour marathon, 3:59. Well, at 60 grams of carbohydrate per hour, that's roughly 240 grams of sugar, which is this amount of sugar. Now, most gels are between, say, 20 to 30 grams of carbohydrate per serving. So if you aim for one that's 30 grams of carbohydrate and have it every 30 minutes, then you're going to be hitting your 60 grams per hour and your total of 240. My guidance is to eat on a timer instead of eating when you're feeling hungry or feeling tired. If you wait until you're feeling too tired or hungry, then you can't catch up again. You're just digging yourself a hole that you can't get out of. Let's quickly bust some sugar myths. When you're burning thousands of calories running 26.2 miles, sugar that you consume during that run is going to be used straight away as energy. It's not going to be stored as fat. Myth number 2, I'll crash from the sugar. Now, you crash if you are underfueled, you'll crash if you don't have enough sugar, but if you're using sugar appropriately, then you will feel well fueled the whole time. Myth 3, natural foods only. So don't get me wrong, bananas, rice balls, fruit, they're all great. However, they're maybe not as practical on the day. I would consider changing your mindset around sugar. It can be a really practical strategy and a powerful tool that's going to enable you to run faster and feel better. So use it strategically, not mindlessly. So what should you actually eat? Well, if you're aiming for over 60 grams per hour, then you need a blend of different types of sugars. So you're ideally looking for a 2-to-1 ratio of glucose to fructose in the gels that you're choosing. Bars and chews? Well, if you prefer to chew rather than squeeze. But make sure you test your strategy on your long runs, especially at race pace. You might find that trying to chew is quite difficult, especially when you're running fast, because you've got to breathe through your nose to be able to handle that same intensity. Often having a mix of some bars and some gels can work well. Don't forget, sports drinks can be also a good way of topping up your carbohydrate numbers and used in combination with gels or bars. But if you're using sports drinks, I would highly recommend having a 6% solution or less. What does that actually mean, James? So that's an isotonic mix. And how do I calculate that? So the water bottle that you're running with, just Think about the size of that water bottle, if it's a 500 milliliter, for example, times the size of that bottle, 500, by 0.06. Do that on your calculator, you'll get 30. What that means is 30 grams of sugar. If you pour that into the mix and then fill your bottle with water, that will give you a 6% solution. This is great for fueling, but also for hydration. Taking real food, fruit, bananas, rice balls, it's good to play with these in training as it can help stress your gut, but I maybe wouldn't rely on them so heavily on race day. So, sugar doesn't have to be your enemy. If used properly, it can be the difference between you hitting the wall at mile 20 and running through the finish line feeling unstoppable. If you want to finally stop guessing with your sport nutrition and master your fueling strategy, then drop me a message on Instagram at nutrition.for.energy and I'll get in touch. Also remember to like and subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong and stay well fueled.